I like to learn Dhamma.
I learn Dhamma well.
I enjoy learning Dhamma. I am happy learning Dhamma. Learning Dhamma is the only thing I am focused on at this moment. ဖျားတပည့်တော်တို့သည်ဓမ္မကိုလိုလိုကျင်ကျင်သင်ယူကြပါကုန်၏လေးနက်ကောင်းမွန်စွာသင်ယူကြပါကုန်၏သင်ယူခြင်း၌မွေးလျော်နှစ်ချိုက်ကြပါကုန်၏သင်ယူခြင်း၌ပျော်ရွှင်ကြပါကုန်၏လေးလာသင်ယူခြင်းတစ်ခုတည်း၌သာမိမိတို့၏စိတ်ကိုတည်ထားစူးစိုက်ကြပါကုန်၏ All right, so we talk several things, but just a few topics last week. So I would like a few volunteers about what we discussed last week. All right, Michelle always volunteer. Thank you to me. Go for it.
So the top slide that says Saccaskiriya part 5. So basically, there was this husband and wife who lived in a fisherman village, but they were like monks, so they left. And they didn't live as husband and wife anymore. And one day they had a child due to the suggestion of the King Deva. And he had golden skin and he was really nice. And one day his parents were blind after they went out to go look for food. So he took care of his parents after that. And like no animals were afraid of him and like they lived in peace and harmony. And one day he went to the stream to get water for his parents. And the king accidentally shot him because he thought he was some sort of golden deer. And then he tried to lie to him, but it didn't really work. So after that, he admitted he like made a mistake, and then he told him that he really wants his parents to be taken care of, so the king agrees to, and he tries to, but his parents say no, we're just gonna go die with our son, and he tries to persuade them not to, but they say yes. And so when they go to him, they find out that he's still alive. He just kind of went into a coma. So they start saying shruths to help him revive. And his mother from his past life, who has devoted herself to her son, she also says truth, and their son comes back to life. And the king doesn't hunt anymore, and he just takes care of his parents, and they live in harmony.
See, you're muted.
You're muted.
All right. Okay, thank you to me. So based on what we discussed last week, what Michelle said was very good. And there was a lot of homework that you are to discuss with your parents. What was the question, Jackson? What was the little thing that you're supposed to discuss with your parents?
Rubbing the belly button makes a child.
Right. How many of you discussed that with your parent? Anybody? Raise your hand. Okay, Sarah did. Michelle, you did? Okay, Sarah, what was the discussion you had with your mommy or daddy?
So basically we were talking about like the belly button and they didn't really reply.
Yes, thank you.
All right, okay. So is that because they didn't want to discuss, or is that because they don't know? All right, I'm just putting your mommy and daddy on spot. I'm just joking. It's okay. It's okay. Tamikira?
Where's the homework?
Oh, okay. The homework was to discuss about the story. In the story.
No, I mean, where is it?
Oh, no, there isn't, Domingle. It was, I just mentioned that. So, okay, we'll discuss it today. So don't worry about it. Okay.
What you said? Cause I couldn't hear.
The homework was just to ask your parents a question and discuss whether touching someone's belly button can produce a baby.
Oh.
Okay, all right. Okay, I know it is a very touchy topic. So my whole reason was that it looks like and it sounds like it is not scientific, it is not realistic, and a lot of people will not believe in it. So just because of that thing, a lot of people likely will not believe the whole story. So that's what we're going to talk about this week also. Okay. All right. So that's part of this week. That will be part of this week discussion. All right. Okay. What about this movie? This movie is also the same thing as this. So now, can someone tell me whether the actual story is more interesting or whatever mentioned in the movie is so interesting in here? Both are equally weird. That's what Yeti said. Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
All right. That's fine. We'll watch another part of the movie today a little bit also. All right. What about these two books? What are these? Andrew.
They are a book that contains stories about the Saccaskiriya.
All right. Okay, it is close, not quite. So these are the 10 great birth stories of Buddha. Okay, so actually, these are the stories of 10 paramis. Okay, Buddha had to fulfill paramis. Okay, there are 10 paramis, and I'm sure a lot of you will remember what those paramis are. Some of you might not know who joined later. So these stories are about how Buddha fulfilled paramis. Okay, so out of those 10 paramis, this one is one of those 10 paramis. So if you want to read about this story, you can read in this book, but this is a simplified version. What you're reading is also simplified version because I took it from this book. Now, the actual version is this one, which is a lot thicker, that only in Burmese, that you'll have to either learn Burmese or you'll have to ask your parents to read that to you. Okay, those are very, very good and interesting stories, the 10 Paramis book. Okay, so that's what we discussed last week, mainly about Suwanat Sama, right? Okay. All right, so we talk about how you can get a baby just by rubbing the belly button, okay, with the finger. Now, we're here to discuss from the scientific point of view, okay? So Buddha clearly mentioned about different types of getting conception, different types of having babies, okay? So we're not going to discuss about that today, but we're going to discuss about how could that be possible to get a baby just by rubbing a belly button, okay? So how can we find out, is there any such thing in science? How many of you know what parthenogenesis is? Raise your hand if you ever heard of this word, especially those of you who are in high school, middle school. Anyone? No one?
I have.
Okay, all right, Hayden, could you tell us about what parthenogenesis is?
It's kind of like this asexual form of reproduction where the opposite sex is not required to make a baby.
Okay, all right. So, very good. Can you explain to us a little bit more detail how it happened, and is it possible?
So there's things called eggs in an animal, and these eggs can be fertilized by using sperm from a male and a female partner. But however, in parthenogenesis, you don't need the male counterpart, and the embryo can just be formed without the sperm. It's mainly in lizards.
All right. In fact, there are a lot more other animals today that you can actually find. So you can, if you type in parthenogenesis on the internet, you will see a few other species that they don't really have to mate. They don't have to have different sexual partners. So they just can get babies, okay, without having sexual partners. So that kind of getting babies is called parthenogenesis, right? Now, the similar thing could happen to humans, but remember, it is not that easy though, okay? So, but it's a possibility. Now, of course, nobody believes that. A lot of people don't believe it. A lot of people become like, oh, how could that be possible? Right? Now, if you look at Buddha's story, there is very famous book that I mentioned before. Some of you might remember the Kin Milender and the debate of Kin Milender. Okay. Now, how many of you remember about the king Milender or Milendra? Any one of you remember that? No? Okay. All right. So let me share the book. So there is a very, very famous book. So this king is exactly like all of you. You know why? Well, yes, definitely he is human. He is non-believer. Okay. So he was not at the time of Buddha. He was the king of Greek. In fact, he was a general of the Greek king who conquered part of India. So he actually invaded India and conquered majority of India. So he was a general. So the king of Greek made him the king of that part of India. So at that time, India was very famous with a lot of different Asian philosophies. Hinduism, Islam's already there. There are so many different philosophies and religions. So this king himself, he didn't believe in Christianity either. So there was Christianity, and the Greek, what did they believe in? Did they believe in Christianity? No. What did they believe in?
Nothing.
No, the Greek mythical gods, right?
Polytheism.
So the king Milender didn't believe in those either. So he was basically like a scientific guy, like you, all of you, right? Oh, I don't believe in that. You're bowing down to that God that you don't see up there. You're bowing down to the sun. You're bowing down to the river. You're bowing down to this and that. Okay, he didn't believe in those Greek gods. So, but he is a very scientific guy. So he got to India and he invited each and every single famous philosopher of all over India, ridiculed them, right? So he did that to any religion, including Buddhism. So a lot of Buddhist monks, okay, some are arahant. So they couldn't answer the question of King Melinda. Okay, so a lot of those questions that he asked to Buddhism are answered here by a monk called Nagasinda. In Burmese, we call Shanagate. Okay, so one of the question is the exact same question that we're wondering about. Okay, so we're going to read that. Okay, so again, remember this book is a simplified version, not the original book. Original book is very thick, and I don't have the original book in English. I have original book in Burmese at home and digital version. So those of you who can read Burmese or who want your parents to read it for you, let me know, I'll send it over. But this in English is only simplified version, okay, very diluted. So in this book, there are hundreds of questions about this Ken Melinda, who is an atheist, who is very educated, very scientific. He's a general, he fight, he conquer, ridicule everybody, every religion, every philosophy, okay? And he asked, but he respects everybody though, he respects all the religion. But on the other hand, he does not accept any religion, okay? Now, here, the same question is asked by this king, right? Now, this question is answered by the monk, okay? So, Eric, could you read this for us, please? The dilemma?
The dilemma regarding conception. The Blessed One said, Nagasena, that there is conception in a womb with the coincidence of three causes: coitus of the parents, the mother season, and a being to be born.
Thank you, Pat. So the dilemma regarding conception. So dilemma means kind of diamond too, right? So dilemma, it's kind of like, okay, which way? Is it this or that? So the king is nailing Nagasena. Okay, this is the monk, then the name of the monk, Nagasena, right? Hey, you're Buddha said, okay, the blessed one. So he was not nice. He said, hey, your Buddha said, Nagasena, that there is conception in the womb. So a baby will form in the womb with the coincidence of three causes. There has to be three causes, okay? Without fulfilling those three causes, there will be no baby. Coitus of the parents, meaning your mom and dad has to be there. The mother season, meaning that your mother womb has to be ready, and a being to be born. And there must be someone who wants to be born. Without those three, there will be no baby, there will be no conception. Okay, so now the king is challenging Ashin Nagasena. Hey, this is what your Buddha said. Okay, all right, so, okay, all right. Saratami, could you read that for us? However,
However, he also said that when the ascetic Dukula touched the navel of the ascetic woman Parika with his thumb, the boy Sama was conceived. If the first statement is true, then the latter must be false.
Thank you, me. You know, this game is so good. All his questions to Nagasena are just like this, right? He is smart. He actually studied the 3 best cards or the 3 beta cards, all right, in detail, and nail all the monks. That's what he did to all the other religions too. He studied Hinduism, said, okay, you know, here in this book, your philosopher said this, but in that book, it's the direct opposite. Then if you say this is true, this has to be wrong. Now that's exactly what he is saying. However, he also said that when the ascetic Dukula touched the navel of the ascetic woman Parika with his thumb, the boy Sama was conceived. If the first statement, meaning the initial paragraph which says that there are 3 conditions needs to be met. If that first statement is true, this statement of conception just by touching the navel has to be false. So he's saying that you Buddhism stories are balonies, right? How can I trust you? How can I believe in Buddhism? If your Buddha is saying this and to the opposite of this in another place, I don't believe it, right? So now this is how he is. Now, he asks the same question to other monks, and other monks couldn't answer, right? He actually did that to all the other religions. So his city became atheist city. A lot of people at that time believed in Buddhism and Hinduism. Now people are now, because of the king, people are not believing in anything. All right, all the ascetic from Hindus and Jainism and Buddhist monks deserted the city because of this kind of king. He's smart. So now Nagasena said this. All right, who want to read? William, go ahead.
Both statements are true, O king, but you should not think that there was any transgression in the latter case. Sacca, the king of gods, having seen that those virtuous ascetics would become blind, entreated them to have a son. However, they would not consent to intercourse, even to save the life. So Sacca intervened by instructing Dukala, and the Sama was conceived. Oh my God.
Okay, so here, thank you, Ta. So the Nagasena said both statements are true, O king. So the first one is the common one. The other one is a special one in certain situations. Okay, just like parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis does not happen all the time. O king, but you should not think that there was any transgression in the latter case. Sacca, meaning the Jamin, the king of Deva, the king of the gods here, they use the word gods, so the king of Devas. Having seen that those virtuous ascetic will become blind, his parents are going to be blind, entreating them to have a son. So in fact, in the real, the original book, the king of Deva, the Jamin, okay, saw that these couples, they're going to be blind. If they don't have anyone, they'll be dead. So they need to have a son. So the king of Deva came down to them 3 times, tried to convince them. Have a baby, sleep together. Both of them said, no. So he tried 3 times. The 3rd time, they said, if you're telling us to have those kind of things, don't come to us anymore. Just go away. Okay. So the king of Deva told them that, okay, then let's make a deal. You don't have to have sex. Okay. All you have to do is use your thumb, touch the belly button. Okay. So what he did is he actually, before the king of Dever calculated all these things. One, it will be the right time for the lady. And also remember, there has to be someone who wants to be born as a human. So he went up to the Dever kingdom and he asked one of the Dever who is ready to go back down to the human world to be the son of these two. Okay. So now out of those three conditions, so the last condition is met, there's someone who wants to be born as a human, right? Now, the second condition, the home has to be ready. The king of Dever calculated that. We as doctors know how to calculate that. Your mommy know how to calculate that. Now, the only problem is the first one, right? So the opposite sex has to be together. Now, that, by touching it, the king of Dever put a special power to make parthenogenesis. All right. Now, because this is a very simplified version, it just written in one small paragraph. Just by reading this alone, you will not understand. You got to really read the original book to understand much more in detail. So in original book, not only about this story, there are a few other that Shinaga Sena explained to the king with good example. Okay, so what I want you to understand is that even though some of these stories looks unrealistic from our level of mind, from our level of education, there always is a good scientific reason behind it. So those of you who are having questions or doubt about some of things like this, I would recommend you download this book, at least find the answer in here. And if you know more in detail, then you're gonna ask your parents to read the Burmese book for you, because the original Burmese or Pali book has a lot more deeper meaning and explanation about all these hundreds and hundreds of questions by the King Milinda. Okay. And I'm sure some of you are looking up the parthenogenesis while I'm talking. What did you find? Anybody want to discuss more about parthenogenesis? No one. All right. Okay. Okay, so we are going to continue reading and finish about Suvarnasama Jarga. So we are almost to the very end. Okay, so last week we stopped here at let the poison termination. Is that correct?
No, I think that is also like.
Oh, Suvarnasama also is again alive. Okay, all right. Okay, let's continue reading then. All right, Andrew, could you read this then, please? 1.
When King Balayaka came across the occurrences, he could not believe and so asked, Savanasama, why do you gain life again? Where do I read it to? Savanasama replied, the god cured those who look after and nourish their parents. The king paid respect to Savanasama with clasped palms and begged to forgive him. Thereupon Suvanasama exhorted the king to look after and nourish the parents dutifully, pointing out to practice according to the 10 precepts incumbent on a king, and he led the king to observe the 5 precepts. Filiyaka, after acquiescing the admonition of Suvanasama, returned to Benares. Suvanasama also looked after and nourished his parent as long as he lived. And when he passed away, he was reborn in the Brahma's world.
Thank you, Ta. So he was dead, or he was almost dead with the poison from the arrow. But by practicing Saccaskiriya, saying the solemn truth from the mother and the father and the mother from his past life, he became alive again, all the poisons are gone. So seeing that, the king, Piliyaka, got really surprised. I'm sure I killed him, right? He was dead. I know my arrow has poison. I left. I went to his parents, came back. This guy came back to life. How could that happen? How did you do that, Suvanasama? Suvanasama replied, the God. Here, you see, Deva, okay? It's a capital G with S, meaning here for Buddhism, it means Devas. The Deva cure those who look after and nourish their parents. I want you to read this very carefully. Okay, this story is not only about Saccaskiriya or saying that so and so. This story also about the benefit of taking care of your parents. Remember last week, Mother Day, right? So the mother love, she made a Saccaskiriya. Okay. Now here, the son said, hey, how did you gain life again? The God take care of me because I take care of my parents. Right? So all of you are taking care of your parents, and the Devas are taking care of you. The king paid respect to Suvanasama with clap stones and back. Forgive me, please. Thereupon Suvanasama exhorted the king to look after and nourish the parents dutifully. Now Suvanasama, a lot younger than the king, is telling the king, you better take care of the parents. Pointed out to practice according to the 10 precepts incumbent on a king. Now, this is not about the 10 precepts that you and I know. This is about the duty of the 10 duties of a king that we discussed before. So Suvanasama is telling the king, you got to follow the 10 precepts for a king. And he let the king to observe the 5 precepts. So this 5 precept is the precept that we know, the 5 precept that you and I practice. But this 10 precept is not the 10 precept that we're talking about. This is 10 precept for the king. So here's the Suvanasama is telling the king, number 1, take care of your parents. Number 2, be a good king by following the 10 duties of the king. And number 3, keep the 5 precept. Okay. So the king, Piliyaka, after acquiescing the admonitions of Suvanasama, returned to Benares, Varanasi. Okay, he went back to his kingdom. Suvanasama also looked after and nourished his parents as long as he lived. When he passed away, he was reborn in Brahma world. Okay, because he practiced metta, loving kindness, he went up to the Brahma world. All right, very good. Tamish Shireen, could you please read this for us?
The Piliaka doing meritorious deeds as long as he lived was reborn in the celestial world when he passed away. In conclusion, Savana Sama became Buddha Gotama. Vilayaka king became Thera Ananda. Bahusundra fairy became Upalawanatari. Father Dukala became Thera Mahakasapa, and Mother Parika became Kapilani Terry.
Okay, thank you for me. So the king Piliyakar, to him, because he learned those three things from Suvanasama, he does all the meritorious deeds as long as he lived. And after he died, he reborn in the celestial world. When he passed away, he also went up to the upper realm. So in conclusion, Suvanasama became Gautama Buddha. Later, Piliyakar, the king, became Thera Ananda. You all know Ananda, right? Ashin Ananda? Yeah, Thera means the monk or the Ashin Ananda. And Bahusandra, the fairy mother, the fairy godmother became Upalawanatari. All right, she is a very famous nun at the time of Buddha. Father Dukula became Thera Mahakasapa. Mahakasapa also is a very famous monk during the time of Buddha. And Mother Parika became Kapilani Theri. Okay, so this story, everybody involved in this story became great person during the time of Buddha. In this story of Suvanasama, it should be noted that Gautama Buddha fulfills the virtue of loving kindness and virtue of patience or forbearance. Okay, so this story of Suvanasama describes virtue or the quality of loving kindness and the patience. Okay, so this whole story again is very simplified. If you want to know it in detail, you're going to read the original in Pali, or I'm not really sure other languages, in Burmese. Okay, Tamisharin, I am not really sure if your parents have the original story in your language or not. So ask your parents to tell you more detail on this story. Let me, Sharon. All right. So those of you who watched the movie, the Mudra's Calling, any one of you remember the similar story in Mudra Calling? How many of you watched the Mudra Calling? Raise your hand again.
Wait, what was it?
The movie Mudra Calling?
Yeah, I kind of forgot.
Kind of. Okay. All right. So the similar story can be found in today's life in different countries, especially in Asian country. So the power of solemn truth or Saccaskiriya can be found with so many examples till today. So those of you who didn't watch the movie, or those of you who watched the movie and do not recall, I will show you that little piece in today's life. Let me share the screen.
ဒီနားမှာအိမ်နိုင်ရှိလား
ဒီနားမှာတော့အိမ်သာမရှိဘူးမဒီတောက်ကြီးရဲ့နောက်ဘက်ကိုတော့တွားရင်ရမယ်
နင်ရမ်းသွားချင်သွားလိုက်လေငါလိုက်ခဲ့ပေးမယ်သွားလိုက်ပါဘယ်လောက်ထိဆက်သွားရမယ်မှမသိဘူး She needs to use restroom you need to go
Yeah, I can't hear. I mean, it's too low.
What happened?
Nick she got bit by a snake
Where is she? Hey! Where is she? Did you see the snake?
he saw it ba mùi lệ
What boy?
bye bye
We need to give her antivenom right away. Is there a clinic in this village? A hospital or something? Doctor! Doctor! All right. We'll take this back. And lift her. Don't go to the second, the only little Namino Toyame. See you, Piandama, so not on you, Piandama Yamerama.
Uchiya, Chinimagong. Mugurabu, semi mamu.
no clinic or hospital around here and even is about 2 hours away they are saying she don't make it in time
Mama, those who the night see ya. How you met we can't just sit around here and wait until she dies. She needs antivenom. We need to get her to the clinic. How do we get there?
we had to hike it will take about 2 hours away
Alright, let's go. Ikalima yaudi ka mangubu, tigani lina ngamla mo ikama mwede pere parya yale me.
he said there is medicine man who treat abnormation it will take about 5 minutes to get to him by boat
Is he a doctor?
ကျွန်တော်ကိုယ်တိုင်ရောကျွန်တော်ရွာနေချင်းမှာပါ။ဘာမွေစိတ်ဖြစ်ပြီးအသက်ကြီးပြီးခဲ့တာမနေတော့ဘူးကြာ
he said there is medicine man saved his life and many others
Hold on! What are you guys talking about here? We need to get to the clinic. She needs antivenom.
she can't make it in time my Babino come kill you in less than an hour this is the only way to save her life I heard about this area known for imported urban medicine if they save his life it could also save her too
ဘာဖြစ်တာလဲ
ဝင်ဝေးကြိုက်ခံရပါဆရာ
ခြေနေရတော့မကောင်းဘူးငါကဲနိုင်မကဲနိုင်မသိကြဘူး
He said he cannot grant that she will live.
သူနဲ့ဘာတော့လဲသူ
တငယ်ချင်းပါဆရာ
မင်းတို့အားလုံးပြန်ထွက်သွားလိုက်သူ့ဘာခေါ်တော့ခိုင်းလိုက်
He want you to be outside.
No. I'm not leaving her. Please. Please, sir. She doesn't have much time.
The potency of my medicines depends on my strong faith. I cannot have any doctors in this room. This is very important for her. That's why I ask everyone to step outside. If you stay, you're gonna die. It's bad energy. It may stop her healing.
Yes. Yes, I understand.
Kinasi Andra Yokato Tatati Hodu. Can you swear an oath?
Well,
all you have to do is to say something true from your heart for her. This can help a lot.
I mean, I've never sworn in my life. With that,
I can see you have feelings for her. Affection. You see, my medicine works two ways. Inside and outside. Outside is the body. Inside is the soul. The soul more important. She is very weak. So stronger inside, better. I need your help. She needs your help.
okay. I'll do it.
You need to open your heart to say something that is true. It is very, very important. It is the truth.
I swear I'm scared to death to lose her. Because I'm in love with her. Yes. Because I'm in love with her.
Find her. Bring her back.
Hey, wait.
Why did you have to follow me? You need to find your parents. I have to go.
No. No, no, no. Don't leave me. I need you. I love you. Do you hear me? I don't know how to say to make you believe me. Please stay. I really need you to stay.
You don't need me.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. You said You helped me find my parents. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here.
I'm very tired.
I know.
I don't want to fight this anymore.
I promise. Everything's gonna be fine.
You're still weak. Move slowly.
Is she gonna be okay?
I don't know. I'm trying everything I can.
I saw her.
Yeah.
Do you remember? You got bitten by a snake?
I had a very long dream. I think I saw you in my dream.
Really? You saw me?
I think so. But it's all fake now.
Oh, it's okay. Just try and relax. Don't think too much.
She will live.
All right, so let's do a little quick discussion. I know I took a lot longer for your break time, so we'll do a little quick discussion and we'll go on break. So what did you pick up out of this little video clip based on the Suwana Samra and discussion about the Saccaskiriya practice? What did the medicine man say at the beginning?
He said that his medicine wouldn't work if there was doubters.
That's right. So he said, potency of my medicine walk solely on faith. And it won't work if there are no doubter inside. That's the reason why he asks everybody to step out. Right? Now, what kind of animal did you hear at the time?
Oh,
Any one of you remember? There was a animal sound, Patrick.
Like, is it the one that made the sound, or is it the one that they mentioned?
No, they didn't mention about the animal.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I know.
Anybody?
Me.
Okay, Wayne, go ahead.
It's the monkey lizard.
Monkey lizard.
Lizard.
It's
Peacock?
not peacock. It's a lizard. Okay, so what do you think the director put the lizard sound during that time? What does lizard represent? Anybody? Anybody know what does lizard represent? So according to the Suvarnasama, right, we talk about parthenogenesis, right? The parthenogenesis happening in lizard these days and a few other animals. So now let's look at what people believe in about lizard. What is the symbolism of lizard? All right, Marina, could you read this for me, please? Lizard symbolism.
Lizards represent many things to many cultures. These make lizards symbolizations not only diverse but also complex and intricate. In general, lizards have similar salience as snakes, as they are viewed as similar creatures in many cultures.
All right, Miranda, could you read this second paragraph? Too many?
Too many, they are a symbol of destruction, rebirth, and recreation. Thanks to the ability of many lizard species to regrow their tails and also the ability to molt.
Thank you. To many, they are a symbol of resurrection, rebirth, and regeneration, thanks to the ability of many lizard species to regrow their tails, and also their ability to molt or shed their skins. Have you guys ever seen lizards actually regrow their tails? Any one of you have seen that? Because you don't see many lizards in this country. Back home in Burma, every single house is a small home lizard, not the big one that you guys see outside in the wilderness. So there is a home one that's about this size, okay? So a lot of time they live behind the doors and windows, and every now and then we close the doors and windows, we accidentally cut their tail. Now, when you look at it, that tail's jumping for like quite a long time, the tail doesn't die, okay? Now, a few days later, that tail grow back. Okay, I have seen that many times. So lizard represent resurrection and rebirth. Okay, now that's the reason why the parthenogenesis happens. So lizard has that ability. Now in this movie, the director put the sound of the lizard in that moment. Okay, this director actually is very good, giving you the symbolism, okay, of rebirth, resurrection. Okay, so this kind of story, you can hear it in Burma quite often and in other Asian countries. In some of the Christian countries also, they believe in Saccaskiriya. Okay, so the message that I want you to get is, even though on face value, it doesn't look like realistic, even though it looks like a fairy tale, but it is proven that it does exist and it does work. I took too much time today. So we have been learning about practice of solemn truth, or Saccaskiriya. And we learn about Wataka Sutta, the quill story, and the Mora Sutta. So we want to put it in our daily practice. So we have been reciting Metta Sutta and Mangala Sutta daily with our practice. Now I'm going to add this Mora Sutta about the peacock. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen. So since we have been practicing Mangala Sutta for quite a long time, I'm sure all of you got it by heart for now. So now, starting tomorrow, you will be just reciting Mangala Sutta by heart. There will be no more slide. But instead, the slide will be changed to this Mora Sutta. Okay, and you'll be reciting this. Okay. All right, so Puritam Bodhi Dambari Nebadam Mora Yoni Yina Damwiri Dayakam Mahata Damwanesara. So initially it will be a little difficult because you're not used to this Parita. Okay. Siratang Waya Mantapi Newa Zakentu Ganito, and so on. So now at the end, the last stanza of the full stanza, at the end, it will be the same thing as Metta Sutta. Okay, because this you can change because you are praying for either yourself or someone else. So you are familiar with this slide. So by the power of this solemn truth, okay, so you're saying Etina Sesha Wishina. Okay, so that's what I mean by the power of this solemn truth. Okay, here Sesha, you see, that's what Sacca. Sesha means the solemn truth. Etina means this. Okay, Wishina. So by the power of the solemn truth. So these two words say by the power of the solemn truth. Sati te hotu sabara. You are always filled with all the happiness. Now you're praying for someone else. Now you can replace this te with anyone you want. Okay, you can add your mommy, your daddy, your friend. Okay, anyone. So any one of you want to pray for anyone specific? Remember, we believe in power of togetherness. That's what we said. The power of the group. Okay, the collective power, we call it. Right, the collective power is very strong. So who would you like to pray for every night?
Burma.
Burma? Can you be specific? Burma is big. There are 60 million people.
Yeah, all of them.
The people who
All
are
of them.
dying, well,
All
the
of them
people
except the
in Burma.
military. Like, no, I can't say that.
You can't say that, right? You can say, okay, everybody, but not men online or not military people. Then you can't do that. Then if you do that, it will not be powerful. If you want your Saccaskiriya to be powerful, it's gonna be equal, right? but it is better if it is unique and specific to someone. Instead of Tay, you can put someone. Who do you want to put? What about if we all put Aung San Suu Kyi?
We don't even know if she's alive. Seriously?
We don't even know if she is alive. We believe that she is alive, and you gotta believe in life. Yeah, she better be alive. So would you be interested if we all say Aung San Suu Kyi?
You said Aung San Suu Kyi.
Oh, juicy. Okay, not juicy. Raise your hand if you want to do that during our every night prayers. I don't see many hands. Okay, Marina, William, Yeti. Okay. All right, Ricky, Sarah, Josh. Okay, very good. So let's do this. So remember though, you can put in anyone. You can put in yourself. You can put in your mommy, your daddy, your friend, the whole Burma, Aung San Suu Kyi, whoever, Donald Trump, if you love him. So we're going to say 8 ina session was ina salty Aung San Suu Kyi. Okay, how to sabda. 8 ina session was ina sabah roga wina satu. 8 ina session was ina how to. Again, the same thing. Aung San Suu Kyi. Jaya Mingla. So, so here, even though we interpret as by the power of the solemn truth, you are filled with, or Aung San Suu Kyi is filled with all the Mangalas. So another meaning of Jaya Mingla is you will gain the victory. Okay, that's another meaning of Jaya Mingla. So here you will just say filled with all Mangalas. Okay, so that's our plan starting tomorrow. You will be reciting as usual Mangala Sutta, Metta Sutta, but there will be no slideshow, but slideshow instead will be on this Mora Sutta. Okay, because why not? The other sutta that we learn, because we are not really worried about fire right now, right? The other sutta, the Witta Sutta, is about the quill, protection from fire. Okay, so that works for prevention or protection from fire. Now, right now, we're not worried about it. So, but we're worried about imprisonment. We're worried about all these other dangers, right? So, especially right now, what's happening in Burma is the military junta is killing students, people, putting a lot of people in prison, including Aung San Suu Kyi. So we're going to send our power. Remember, I believe your power. You guys are very sincere, not like me. I'm not as sincere as you are, because the older we are, the more mistake we make, the more breaking 5% we do. We're not as pure as you are. You are very pure, relatively. Okay, so you have more power than I am. You have more power than your parents. And all of you collectively say something as aspiration like this, as such a career practice. It is powerful. Okay, so we're going to say that. So we're going to end our discussion here tonight. Thank you for. Idame punya atawakya wahan hodu. Idame punya mebanasa pisayo hodu. Idam punya bagan sabasatana bazima. Ido buya mya punya jang chamya eji be mami di shwe bi tocha Lama Kaupe Yao Yaba Lo Do Do Bawa Jin Le Ya Le Dokha Vedan Yama Ba Macau Hudamya Matwaya Be Tava Isa Minglago Yuega Daraya Sido Yene Yaku Biu Damya Myabarago Miva Saya Myoda Hani Oma Sauja Ko Zao Naka Ayen Sa Yue Shidamya Lonzo Bodo Zati Pie Pie Damya Wini Yaro Yaja Vaze Pinga Widi Nya Twe Dadu Hosido Alo Jaja Amya Yura Muja Vagongo Sadu Alo Yajatamya Amya Yura Muja Vagongo Sadu Alo Yajatamya Amya Yura Muja Vagongo Sadu. Good night, everybody. Thank you.